Hello, everyone. This is MMA Interesting Prospects podcast. Today, our guest is LFA welterweight fighter Miguel Jacob. Hello, Miguel. How are you?
How's it going, Brad? I'm doing very good. Thank you very much for having me here. And it'll be a pleasure to talk with you guys.
Thank you for taking the invitation, especially after another very good win in LFA cage. It was a knockout, second round knockout against a fighter who maybe didn't have a great record, but who is really tough to finish, especially by punches. So
Yes,
if you can tell me, how do you feel after this fight?
I feel great. I didn't take any damage, so I think that's the best thing you can ask for after a fight. It's a win, a finish, and no injuries. So I think I was able to accomplish it. All of those stuff that you can ask for. And I feel good. It was a good fight, and my opponent, I believe he's much better than what his record shows as well. He's very tough, very durable, and I think we put on a great show.
And this kind of opponent, sometimes there are really dangerous guys, because maybe
Yes,
they didn't have this great record, but they
yeah,
have a lot of fights, and they have this tricks that can
yes,
create some danger for you, and
yes,
you did it, you won in a great fashion.
yes. You got to remember that regardless of the result, how many times they've been there, how many times they made that walk, and he's a very dangerous opponent. Got heavy hands, each one of his fights, even though some of them he was losing. At the last second, he used to drop his opponents. He got very close to finishing many of his fights, regarding if he was losing at the beginning or not. So it's a type of guy that you gotta be. I was actually very nervous for this fight, due to that scenario. You kind of having that obligation to win, people expecting a lot from you, and it kind of like the pressure was a little bit on my side. And he's very good. He has very good boxing. He's been around for a while, very experienced. So I wasn't looking past him. I respect him a lot. I showed him a lot of respect by training very hard for this fight, and yeah, and it was good that everything came together at the right time.
And if there are no injuries, when would you like to be in the cage again?
So I would like for sure to be inside LFA cage before the end of the year. We're already working on another fight, possibly in November or December, so we can get another one before the year ends.
And do you think that the win in your next fight should give you maybe a LFA title fight, or even more, maybe more interest from the UFC?
Yeah, we never know. That's what I was hoped for. I was so close to, in my point of view, was close to being the UFC, and then unfortunately I had a loss, and now I had this win. But I don't know. I believe that everything can happen. I try to don't focus too much ahead, but definitely another win will put me on the talks, and will put me on an even better position. But I've seen people getting called coming off one win too. Just happened last week on the Contender Series. So I'm trying to stay ready just in case. I'm right here in Los Angeles, um, where it's near to Vegas. To the UFC. I'm always training, so I'm ready for whatever shows up. As long as it's a good opportunity for me, and I'll be there.
To be honest, I thought that your fight against Jeff Creighton should be on the UFC card, because he's a super high level guy and you are a super high level guy,
Thank you.
and this fight should be in the UFC, and I think that. Of course, Jeff won that fight, but you had a really good moments in this fight against
Thank you. Yes.
really good fighter. So
It-
it's like, I think that your time is right now to get
yes. Thank
more
you. I appreciate it. After
more
I fought
recognition.
Ryan Leininger, the fight before Jeff, I had a very good win against like a very tough opponent. Ryan Leininger. He had like 10 wins, 10 finishes on the first or second round. Former Golden Globe, and I won in a very good way. And then I was coming off like 3 wins, 2 finishes, and Ryan. So that put me right there, and it kind of almost happened a couple of times where I almost got I almost got the shot last minute. And I decided to wait. I decided, since I was in a good spot, to take some time to just stay ready and see if maybe the UFC will call me. It almost happened a couple of times, but it didn't. It almost happened, but it didn't happen. So after almost a whole year waiting, I was like, okay, I'm gonna go back to LFA and get another win. So maybe I could stay on the talks or just prove once again that I deserve to be among the best. And that's when the Jeff fight happened. I had good moments. I dropped him in the first round. Not giving an excuse, but I was in Brazil like 4 weeks before the fight, traveling with my family. I just didn't want to wait anymore to fight. So as soon as they called me, I said yes, even though I knew Jeff was a very, very good opponent. He's well-rounded. He's good on all around. I had good moments. I got close to finishing the fight, but my body just didn't keep up. I had like a sty on my eye. That's why on the whole 5 weeks, and if you see the fight pictures, I had my glasses on because I didn't want to show I had like a huge sty. And for that, I was taking antibiotics, so I could get rid of it. I didn't know that's my fault. I didn't know antibiotics could like affect your body. I only found out after. And I cannot attribute the lose to that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, he was a better fighter. He was able to keep up the pace that I didn't. But I'm pretty sure I have a lot of factors. I know deep down in myself that I had a lot of stuff that didn't contribute to me being on my best days. You know what I mean? So I took the lesson. You know what I mean? It was a hard pill to swallow, but and now finally I'm able to bounce back. I bounced back already, so it's a new page, new phase, new me as well. I believe that when you come back from those tough moments on your career and your life, if you face it the right way and you bounce back, I believe you come back a better fighter. You know what I mean? As a better man. So if I was good before and if I was ready before, I can guarantee you that I'm even better right now and even more ready than I was before.
And in the end, I think that is good experience to fight against tough competition before joining
Yes,
the
yes,
UFC because you know that you can stand with this level of fighters.
yes, for sure, for sure.
And when I checked your record, I saw something interesting that in your first 4 wins, you won by decision, and in the next 5 wins, you knocked out four of your opponents. So if you
Yes.
can tell me what happened, what changed that right now you
I
are a knockout
I think
machine.
maybe at age I think maybe at age 2 I was too young. I moved over here, I was what, like 19, 20. That's when I had my first profile. So I still had like the young kind of young kid type of strength. So I believe that after I start growing up, I start getting more muscle too. And also I used to fight 155, where I used to do a very big cut for 155, and after I moved up to 170, I believe the strength was more there. Even the fights that I had at 170 before, on my first 4 fights, my Bellator fight and stuff, I was at 155, cutting weight to make 155, and I took the fight last minute at 170 at Bellator. So the guy was like 20, 30 pounds heavier than me on the day of the fight because I was cutting weight to fight for LFA. So that played a big role on it. And yeah, I think maybe that has to deal with it. But if you look at the if and one thing I think is good to point it out, that even though the finish didn't come on those fights, if you sit down and watch it, you're gonna love it, because they're all the 4 fights. They were all striking, me doing what I do best. There's like punching, kicking, going forward, spinning stuff, and I don't remember of a boring fight. That I was a part of it. Every fight that I'm in, it's a movie. You know what I mean? Ups and downs and aggressive, and I believe that's what the big shows want. Exciting fighters that put on a big show. There, every time I go in there, I give everything on the line to get the finish, to get the win, and I think they will like when I get there.
And right now you are training in Kings MMA. And if
Yes.
you can tell me, how did you get to this gym?
So Kings MMA, it's right here near where I live, is in Huntington Beach. I live in LA. Uh, Rafael Cordeiro, I think it's everybody knows in the fighting industry who he is, about his story, about the champs that he already made. So we were looking. I was a part of Black House. I'm still part of Black House as well, Black House MMA. So I was train right here, and they kind of have like a little partnership. And that's how I ended up over there. My manager talked to Rafael, and we went, and we just loved the energy. Rafael, uh, a great mentor, to have around, all the experience, all the knowledge, and the energy in the gym is very good. I'm able to train side by side with very tough guys, very very well-rounded fighters. What made me grow as well, Now, until those 4 fights that you mentioned as well, I wasn't part of Kings. After the 4 fights, I went to Kings, so I think I got a little bit of that Kings MMA spirit as well. What helped me to change the course of my results.
I think that like training under such a good coach is probably something unbelievable because he had like a lot of knowledge of the fight game.
Yes,
He
yes.
created so many champions. So if he did it before, he can do it again with
He
probably.
definitely knows the path to get there. He definitely knows the path. And there's a quote that say, "There's no new mistakes. There are old mistakes made by new people." So he been there for so long. Nothing can beat time. Nothing can beat experience. You know what I mean? So he knows the answers for a lot of questions that we we're trying to figure out for sure. So I try to learn as much as I can, try to give my best, and for me, it's a pleasure to be around. Here in Los Angeles overall, dude, there's so many good guys. There's so many good places, and me coming from Brazil, it's been always a good experience to be around all those big guys, so I can learn. So I learned so much from all of them.
And do you have a like sparring partners, especially your size, but maybe not super known, maybe also like prospects, maybe on the amateur level, maybe early in their pro career, if you can share any names?
I would definitely say the ones that things get heated the most and that I like the most is my good friend Michael Mendonça. He actually found the same card. We are very close. We basically moved over here to the US together. And it's for sure my favorite one, Nothing like a family business. So we beat each other up and it's good for both, he was a 155, he moved up to 170. Now he moved down to 155 again. I was a 155 or I moved up to 170. So we kind of like about the same kind of got like the same weight, so training gets very good when we both go into it.
And if I'm correct, he was a LFA champion before, right?
Yes, he was a LFA welterweight champion before. Then he signed with Bellator, and now Bellator just got sold, so he got released with with a bunch of other fighters that after this fusion between Bellator and PFL.
And of course, watching your fights, it's obvious that you are a very good striker. But how do you feel about your grappling, like fighting from your back, maybe also the like takedown defense?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel pretty confident, honestly, man. One curiosity that a lot of people don't know is that I actually started out in jiu-jitsu. Jiu-jitsu was my first martial art. I started out actually before I started out striking. I'm a jiu-jitsu brown belt, but I've been training for maybe 15 years. So I'm pretty comfortable in my jiu-jitsu. I'm pretty comfortable in my wrestling. It's not. I don't believe, on my point of view, that I'm that type of striker that's like scared of grappling. No, I'm not. I choose not to because I like the striking and I'm a striker, and that's my focus. My whole life was striking. I started out jiu-jitsu, but then I transitioned to striking, to kickboxing, and that's what I did most of my time. But I'm pretty comfortable, and I don't have like these. I'm not scared of it. It's just I choose not to because I like to strike, I like to bang, but I have the tools for it. You know what I mean? If I want to use it, they're there, and that gives me a lot of confidence. You know what I mean? I always want to use that resource I can.
And it's probably good to have this knowledge that you have a good plan B if there
Yes,
will
yes,
be anything, any like challenges in the stand-up department. You can go to the ground, and of course with
yes, for
the
sure.
brown belt you can do almost everything
And
there.
you see a lot of strikers in MMA that even though they're very good strikers, they're not able to perform as good or to showcase their abilities they have on the feet because they're scared to get taken down, or they don't want to get too close, or it kind of. I believe that sometimes for you to be a very good striker in MMA, you do need to have a confidence in your grappling game that you are able to let it all go on the feet without being so concerned that if the fight goes to the ground, you're gonna get finished or you're gonna lose. You know what I mean? And like you having that type of confidence on your grappling will definitely helps your striking. You know, that's why sometimes you see grapplers knocking out or knocking down strikers. You know, like because sometimes the striker is so concerned about uh like getting taken down that they kind of like are able to perform as good on the feet. It's the famous MMA math. It's very hard. We never, nobody knows how to. It's hard.
Yes, yes, definitely. And in my, at least in my opinion, you are a guy who should be in the UFC. You are on
Thank you, brother.
in this on this level. But if you can get there to this promotion, do you have a name in mind that you'd like to face in your first fight?
Oh man, my first fight, honestly, I would like to face a striker. You know, so we can put on a good show, and we are both able to let it go, and I can show the whole world what I'm about to and what I'm there. That's definitely an opportunity I've been working my whole life for, and I've been waiting for a long time. And sometimes when I watch it, or it's hard, you know, because you just not on the same position as me. There's many people that I know as well that deserve to be there, and they are not. So sometimes when I look, I just sit back and I was like, damn, I know I can be this guy, you know, and kind of give you a little itch inside, but it's okay. Everything's God's timing. I'm not in a rush, but I also know that I don't have a lot of time to waste. I'm 27 years old. I've been doing this my whole life. It's not an easy path. It's not an easy career, you know, but it's also what I chose to do. I love it a lot, and I'm gonna keep going until my goal is to be among the best. My goal is to be number one. I'm not doing this on my life to just be another average UFC guy or just another average fighter. My goal is to get to the top, and because I was gonna be my motivation. The day that I believe I might not be able to get to the top, or I'm just gonna be another one, I might just do something else on my life.
And I think that you are in the very good place because you are in LFA, and almost like watching every UFC card, you can pick like 5 or 10 fighters who fought in LFA.
Yeah,
So it's like
yeah.
great place to be in.
LFA is a great platform, and it's the biggest one. I think it's the biggest development promotion in the world, not just in the US, in the world. So definitely in a good place. Great promotion. They kind of train you for the UFC. Everything they do during the fight week, it's to get you comfortable with the whole scenario. You know, so once you get to the big stage, um, you're ready. You know, you've been there before. You've been to something similar before, and there's no easy fights on it, bro. If you are fighting or you're fighting for LFA, you know you can pick and choose. But you're gonna get the best of the best, so you can get so you have the chance to prove you're one of the best and you deserve the shot. You know, so I'm happy to have like 5 fights with them. Dude, that phase I had like my happiest and my saddest moments as well.
And sometimes the like short notice opportunity happen that the fighter is taking a fight with a quite short notice, and the question is how quickly can you make a welterweight limit?
Well, to racing like now I just fought, so I just fought. I'm trying to keep my weight low. Uh, but I won't. I'll be honest. At the same time, I'm not stressing about it as much as I stressed out for 1 year. I stayed 1 year after for Ryan Leininger, basically in camp, like keeping my weight very low, a very strict diet, trying every opportunity that we could find out me and my management about, and it's kind of hard for my mental health as well, you know, to stay like 1 year sprinting. So now I'm kind of like staying ready, but at the same time I'm trying to not chase it too much. You know, I'm still trying to aim like November, December, but keeping my weight low just in case they call. I could say maybe I need what, a week, 10 days. I can make weight easy. Whatever they say, I'll try. I'll make it. Because I even if I gotta die in the bathtub or in the sauna, I'm okay with it because that's a UFC shot. But to make it comfortable, I think maybe right now I would need about 10 days.
I think that this is a very good time. It's not a long
Yeah,
time,
it's not that. More
10
than
days.
that, I'm more than if they give more than 10 days, I'm more than happy. Less than 10 days, I'm still gonna go. With my, I'm just gonna have to stuff a little bit extra, but I'm gonna make weight for sure.
And because you are from Brazil, and they created so many great champions, great fighters. Who, in your opinion, is the best Brazilian fighter ever?
We have so many great champs and so many that inspire me, but I gotta say, for me, it was always Anderson Silva. Anderson is kind of like especially for my generation, because when I was growing up as a teenager, Anderson was the main UFC guy, and so Anderson definitely inspired a whole generation of new fighters in Brazil, and numbers prove itself. He was the biggest, you know what I mean? We have over there, and also because of the fighting style, a striker, the person. I just Anderson's a guy that I admire a lot, and I grew up watching it.
And do you have a favorite moment of his very successful career?
If I can pick one, that's hard. One guy I love it. Dude, what he did for me, it's very incredible. And but maybe one of the fights that I like to watch a lot, it's him against Forrest Griffin. The way he knocks Forrest Griffin out, it's something that you go like, dude, come on, the guy. He just makes it look easy, And come on, dude, Forrest Griffin's a beast. And the way he did what he did was kind of like. And if you watch a couple of my fights, nobody ever taught me that, and it's not because I watch Anderson, but I kind of have some of that style in me sometimes, especially when I'm winning already. Something I already try to talk myself into not doing it, to like talk with the crowd and stuff. But it just comes out natural. I think I just watch it too much of Anderson growing up.
Yes, but it was actually quite crazy, because you wouldn't think that Forrest Griffin was a world champion just one fight ago.
Dude, that's exactly what I'm saying. He just made it look easy, and we know that it's not easy, and we know what he was against you, and over every other moments, when he finished Chael Sonnen as well, dude, that he was definitely losing the fight, and he was able to turn around at the last second, and he got the triangle choke. And many fighters, especially after they got beat all the rounds, the fight's pretty much over. You know what I mean? You have like about 2 minutes to get back what you lost in 23 minutes of the fight. So a lot of people over there would have quit, not physically, because sometimes they don't want to get finished, but they would have quit mentally because they just be like, I don't want to be here anymore. I already lost. Now just survive and go home and try another day. And he didn't, dude. He was able to pull it out, and made one of those craziest and best MMA moments there ever lived.
Yes, he created so many of these moments
Yes, so many,
that
so many.
people can think about like 10 or 15 years from the fight.
Yes, those memories gonna live forever. And after I met him personally as well, I became even more of a fan. So I was able to train with him here in LA. I trained with him actually a little bit in Brazil too, but as I met him personally too, and I just admire him, and I think it's definitely a fighter that I look up to.
And what do you think about welterweight division in the UFC? Because a few weeks ago we had like Belal Muhammad against Leon Edwards, a fight that the new champion was crowned that night. And what do you think about like fighters from rankings, or who do you think can create a danger from to Belal?
To Bilal, um, it's a very tough division. Welterweight and lightweight for me, those are maybe the two toughest divisions in the sport. Maybe because it's kind of like the male average weight. You know what I mean? It's kind of like 200, or when I saw a lot of people can make that weight, so it's fair. There's a lot of tough guys and a lot of talent in the division. To create problems for Bilal, honestly, I believe I don't know how to pronounce his name right.
Shavkat Rakhmanov.
Yes, Shavkat from Kazakhstan. I think it can be a big problem because of the size and the style. The guy can grapple, he can strike as well. And I'm not gonna lie, I believe that maybe even Leon Edwards on a rematch, um, like him on his best days, I think maybe he's able to get that title back. But Bilal is a very tough fight for anybody. He's the champ, you know. He's good and he proved himself the way he beat Leon. It was impressive. But I believe maybe those two guys have a chance to get the belt. You know, we could see the Leon wasn't. I don't know. I don't. Something happened. I don't believe he was. It was a sport, especially in fighting. We have stuff like that where some nights just ain't your night. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff that can make that happen. You know what I mean? So it's up to us to sit down and see where do we do wrong. Was the preparation, weight cut, hydration, something like that. But the Leon Edwards that we saw against. I think we all believe the Leon Edwards we saw against you, Kamaru was a totally different one than we saw against Bilal. But what Bilal did was impressive too. 5 rounds going forward, shooting, taking it down. That's impressive. That's a little bit of Khabib style on him, and props to him. He also got a lot of good strikes on the feet too, and he made it happen, dude. He made it happen. Props to him. He's a great champ. But I believe him or the Shavkat, he can put up a great fight too. That would definitely be a fight that I would love to watch.
And I think that definitely the fight Belal against Leon should happen not in the morning, like 5 or 6 a.m. It was
Yes,
a
maybe
crazy
that maybe
time.
for sure that could have contribute to, you know, even though they both fought at the same time. You know what I mean? It was hard for Bilal as well. I don't know. In my view, I just saw Leon as a different fighter that night. You know what I mean? So maybe if you could go back and have another shot, I believe he has chances of succeeding. You know, and there's stuff that we're gonna find out if they put it there. You know, let's see. But that would be a good fight, and if I would like to see, you know, especially after coming back from a loss where fighters sometimes they are more motivated. You know what I mean? They kind of like feel like they gotta prove a point. So I want to see. I would like to see that fight.
And for MMA fighters, they have a lot of like different kind of motivations to be a pro fighters, to try to reach their goals. And what is the biggest motivator for you to be a pro MMA fighter?
So my love for fighting started out with my dad. You know, my dad was a big fan, and he talked me into it, trying it out when I was very very young. I tried it out. I love it. I fell in love with the sport, and I found my path very young. So I'm very fortunate to. I'm sorry, like had found something that I loved in a very young age. So I kind of uh, guided my whole life towards that. You know, I moved to the US very young. I started out computing very young. And I started out with my dad, and then it became a passion. And my purpose, I believe, you know, it's attached to it, you know. And nowadays, it's my family as well. You know, I have a 2-year-old daughter that I want to be proud of who her dad is, and I'm gonna be able to provide her like with a good life, and you know what I mean. And that's what motivates me to push harder and harder. And yeah, start out with passion, then it goes with family, and there's a lot more. My beliefs as well. I'm a Christian, so I believe that's it's kind of like my calling. You know what I mean? Be in sport, and be a light to other people, and encourage people to pursue something better, you know, to get closer to God and know God more. And so yeah, I make that I make that all one single package to motivate and help me to move forward, you know.
It's definitely a very good package.
Thank you, brother. It's nice. It was never about money or fame or never care much about that. I had opportunity to do other stuff in life, but I always love it so much, and it was always something that made me just make it made my eyes glow, and I started out with love, and then when I saw I was already too deep into it, kind of like no way back, you know. And I still love it. I still like it, you know. Even though life is different right now, I grew up a lot. I'm still in love with that sport.
And right now you have a lot of fights. You are a quite experienced fighter, but do you feel any like still the stress before your fights, that you know that you will be fighting against another very good fighter? Do you feel this kind of nerves few
Oh
hours to the
yes,
fight?
you feel. I don't know if there's anybody that can say they do not feel it, especially on the big stages where the pressure is even bigger. I feel it, but over the years I realized that being in a position of pressure is a pleasure, is a position of pleasure, you know. I work so hard to be there. I remind myself for everything that I already went through, and at the same day it's kind of like the same fight over and over and over. It never got easier, you know. You fighting the same demos each fight, you know. So I've been there. I came successful many times. I believe I can do it again, and I try to use as my advantage, you know. When you use that type of energy, you know, you're anxious and stuff, and you focus on the right stuff. You focus to get better, to prepare, to give yourself. Uh, it's funny because most of the fights that I was uh, kind of like more nervous about, I did very good. And coincidence or not, the fights that I wasn't so nervous, I kind of like I didn't perform as good, and most of them I ended up losing. So I believe there might be a connection to it. You know what I mean? It's all about finding the right balance. You know, it's kind of like using it to motivation you, using to motivate you, but not letting the fear lead you and making you make the wrong decisions. You know what I mean? So as long as you can keep the fire on the blue, it can be a good use. You know, that's it's a natural reaction of our body to feel afraid of the fear when we face a dangerous situation, you know. And over the years and experience and training and fighting and being around fight as well, when studying about it as well, growing, being more mature, and I've been learning to deal with it better, more and more and more. You know, every fight I learn, every opportunity that I have to learn something new, I go forward. So it's kind of like building up as time goes by.
Yes, but in the end, the probably the all of fighters, all of people need to be stressed when they
Yeah.
know that the consequences are
And
really
that's good
high.
news, you know. You gotta always remind yourself that you're stressed, but he's on the other side and he just as stressed as you. But the good news is he's the one that gotta face you and you're the problem. You know what I mean? Like he's the one against you, bro. So he should be the one that's more scared than you.
Okay, Miguel. So many thanks for the conversation and for the time. I
Thank you
think
very much.
that your place should be right now in the UFC, but I think that also when you get another fight in LFA, you finish another opponent.
And man, thank you.
I think that there should be no doubts that you are the guy to watch in the welterweight division, and you can give like fans a lot of exciting fights.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much for the opportunity for being here, talking about a little bit about my career. And hopefully next time we have this conversation, I'll be in the UFC or somewhere somewhere bigger. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it a lot.